health and wellness. And this is an episode that we're doing called Healthy Habits, Healthy Life, every Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. This is where we talk about how our choices becomes our habits and our habits becomes our lifestyle. So yes. I'm Dr. Will. This is my lovely wife, Queen. Well, Faith. I call her Queen. And if it's your first time joining us, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. Come on, let's get healthy together. Yes. All right. On our last episode, we talked about how to develop healthy habits, healthy behaviors. This week's segment, we're going to talk about stages that people go through when they're doing behavioral changes. Okay, this is part 2 of our healthy living, healthy lifestyle. So this is part 2 of that. And we're going to be talking about a very powerful model this evening, and we're going to share that with you. So,
and as you chime in, as you know, we're live. Chime in, let us know where you're chiming in from, so we can give you a shout out.
Yes.
We appreciate you in advance for joining us live. If you have any questions, be sure you leave them down in the comment section below. We'll be sure, Dr. Will be sure to address them.
Yes.
And I am so excited to hear, because I'm here to learn. I'm a student just like you, here to learn all I can, because why are we, talking about healthy lifestyles?
Right.
Because I believe it was the CDC
that's right.
stated that 80% of chronic illnesses and diseases that we sometimes accept as, oh, well, my mom had it, my dad had it, I'm bound to have it, can be totally preventable. Heart disease, diabetes, some cancers, obesity, those types of chronic illnesses we don't have to accept. And we can change it. Accept it. Yes. We don't have to accept it, but we're not doomed. If we find ourselves in those situations, we're not doomed. We do have options.
Yes, we do.
And that's through our day-to-day lifestyle choices. It is huge what we eat, how we deal with stress, with some of the other ones, being at a healthy weight, living an active lifestyle. All those day-to-day choices that we make determines our outcome of having chronic illnesses and diseases. So I'm interested in that, because I'm trying to prevent all chronic illnesses and diseases. So the more I can do on my part, and if I have control over it, then I want to know about it, and I want to take charge of my health, because my health is my wealth, just like your health is your wealth.
That's right.
So that's why we're coming at live every Wednesday, having these healthy habits, healthy what is it called? Healthy habits, healthy life discussions, talks. So, yes, thank you again for joining us. And Dr. Will, I'm going to turn it on over to you.
Okay. Well, tonight we're going to do some interaction. So if you have questions or anything like that, go on and voice your questions. Queen and I, we're going to do our best to get those questions answered for you. And if we don't have the factual answer for you, we'll make sure we get it, and we'll bring it back to you next week. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
Great. Want to make sure we do that for you. So let's get into this now. The model that is used in healthy behavior change, and it's called the theoretical model for behavior change. Okay. So we're going to be sharing that with you this evening. So it's called the theoretical model for behavioral change. And I'm going to break that down to you.
I was going to say, Queen, that's a big word. Break it down for us lay folks.
Queen's always,
break it down for us lay folks.
What's very good about the theoretical model of for behavior change is that this model was actually developed specifically for healthy behavior changes. Okay. So we're going to get into that too. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, so to speak. But we're going to get into the basics of this talk this evening, is the stages of behavior change. So we're going to go here to the next one. Queen's going to help me out with my clicker here. That the theoretical model, let's get into the definition of that. This model, I'm gonna click here, I'm sorry, I want to share this full screen with you. This model looks at the stages that people go through when we're making healthy behavior change. Okay. It was developed by Prochaska and De Clemente back in their late 1970s. And basically what they wanted to do was they wanted to create a model that people could use to change to healthy behavior. So that's where it came from. It also provides interventions and tips and things like that that people can use to progress from one stage to the next in the process change. Okay. So the main focus, it was developed as a way to change behavior, to help people make healthy lifestyle changes. This is the main reason why they developed this model. Okay. It's not a theory. It is actually a model. Okay. And the focus is on individual decision making.
Okay, so this is something that we can design ourselves,
absolutely,
implement ourselves,
absolutely.
And I think when we feel we're in control,
yes,
we tend to stick to it.
Yes, right? It's called autonomous motivation.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely, Queen. So it's called autonomous motivation, where you feel like you've had input to make this difference, which means that you probably would do the steps and the guidelines that you have helped the person that's helping you in this process to put together. So one of the things too, I wanted to make sure that you understand is that this is a process of intentional change. Okay. And the intentional change, meaning that this is something that you want to do. Okay. So we want to make sure that you know that this is not something that is it's not hocus pocus. It's something that you have deliberately made a choice to do for yourself. So it is an intentional change. Okay. So we're going to share some of these things with you.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
What do you think is the driving force for people to want to change?
Okay, well,
especially health,
yes,
healthy behavior change.
Well, studies have shown that a lot of people change based on how they feel. They may be fear of actually contracting a chronic illnesses and illness and disease. So they make this change based on the fear. Another reason is they make this change because they feel like if they do make a positive change that they will not, or will lessen the threat of getting a chronic illness and disease. So a person really have to be hurting bad enough to be honestly with you.
To say. Pain has to be involved there somewhere.
Some type of pain.
Yes.
Type of pain.
And I read a book, and I don't have it, Dr. Lau and Dr. Goldhammer, The Pleasure Trap. We're driven by avoiding pain, our decisions on a day-to-day basis, avoiding pain.
Yes.
Seeking pleasure, conserving energy.
Yes.
So what you're saying is, if there's a lot of pain involved, then most of the time people are willing to make a behavioral change.
Most of the times, that is true.
Okay.
Yes.
For healthy reasons.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. As you can see right here on the slide, it says we all go through several stages before changes occur. Okay. And this is a cyclical process. So you can see my wheel right here. And these are the stages for the behavior change. And you can start out, you have the pre-contemplation stage, you have the contemplation stage, you have the preparation stage, the action phase. They actually have the relapse phase here. And that's not actually one of the stages that you go through, because you can make the full cycle of the theoretical change of behavior without actually relapsing. So there's a possibility of doing that, but they put that in there because they know that there's a very strong possibility of relapse. And you typically go through that portion when you get into the maintenance stage of your goal, or of the behavior change, I should say. So, but it is the behavior change process. We talked about the cyclical process, and it start from the beginning and it goes all the way around to the maintenance stage. Now, the beautiful part about this cycle is that you can enter and exit this cycle at any stage, okay, which is very, very strong for individuals that want to make behavior changes. Because let's say, for instance, you had a weight goal that you wanted to reach. Let's say you wanted to be 110 60 pounds or whatever. So you start your stages, and we're going to get into the actual stages themselves individually. So you make your decision, you make your goal. This is what you want to do, and you start the process. And in this process, you find out that you have reached your goal. Let's say you reached the goal, your weight goal, or wherever you want to be. And for whatever reason, you started doing the same habits that you did prior to setting the goal. That's what we call the relapse phase. Okay. And then we'll get more in depth about that too. So let's go and I want to move on here. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go through each one of the stages. Okay. So in each one of these stages, the first stage we have is what? The pre-contemplation stage. And as you can see right here on my chart, it says here on my slide, it said this one here is where you will build awareness. This is where you would need to make a change. Now, typically people in the pre-contemplation stage don't want to make a change.
Right.
Okay. These are the people that actually sit back and don't think that they have a problem, you know, and that's probably most of the reasons why people are in this stage, this pre-contemplation stage, because they don't know that their behavior is a problem. So they need to be aware, and we'll talk about the interventions here too, because I'm going to share with you the interventions of how to move a person from one stage to the next. So in the pre-contemplation stage, you know, a person sit back and say, hey, I'm not changing. I don't need to change. I don't have any problems. There's nothing going on with me. But that's probably because of lack of awareness, lack of them knowing that the behavior is a problem.
Right.
Okay. And this is where we would help them. But that's what the pre-contemplation stage is. Then we get into the next one, which is the contemplation stage. At this point, people have become to a point where they realize that they do have a problem. This is when you start thinking about, wow, I do need to lose some weight. You might have put on that favorite pair of pants, or you might have put on that dress that one day, or you try to put on something and you see that it don't fit you as well as it used to fit you, or it fits you kind of snug or kind of tight. And, you know, it may bring some realization to yourself saying, you know, I need to make some changes here. I need to do something. Walking up a flight of stairs and you all of a sudden you figure out that you're slightly out of breath when you get to the top of those stairs. So this is the contemplation stage. This is the stage where we increase the pros for change and increase or decrease the cons. Okay. This is when you say, hey, I need to make a change. You go from there to the bad part. I need to start working out. I need to lose some weight. I need to eat better, so on and so forth. Then we move into the next stage, which is our preparation stage. And at this stage, this is where you have made the commitment, okay? And you start putting a plan together. This is a great stage to be in, okay? So now you're in the preparation stage. You went to the store. You've gathered all of the food that you need to start that first week if you're going to make a nutrition diet change, if you will. You're ready to go. So that's with the preparation stage. Then we have the action stage. And this is the stage where we actually implement what we want to do, okay, to change the behavior. Remember last week, we talked about the implementation strategy. We had an intentional implementation strategy where we actually put that little clip up on our refrigerator that we were going to change whatever specific behavior, meaning that we were going to make our lunch. I think that's the one we used last week. We're going to make our lunch in the kitchen at 7 p.m. for tomorrow. Okay. And we had that written out up on our refrigerator or on the mirror in our bathroom or somewhere where we could see it. And remember, it was time and location. Those were the two most important things for triggering behavioral change. Okay. With that implementation strategy, it had to have the behavior in there, the time in there, and the location. Those were very, very important. Okay. So now once we come out of the action stage, we go into the maintenance stage, and we reach the maintenance stage after about up to 6 months. After 6 months of about doing this particular behavior, that's when we reach the maintenance stage. And that's the stage that we all want to reach in. That's supposed to be the epic. That's supposed to be the apex. I'm sorry, at the tip or the top. We've reached it. We've maintained it for 6 months. Okay. So this is the goal that we are all searching for.
So the maintenance phase is where it becomes automatic. You don't have to think as hard about, you know, making a decision
Absolutely.
to do. It's just automatic. This is what I do.
Yes.
This is how I do it. This
Yes.
is when I do it and where I do it, and it's more automatic.
Absolutely. That's totally correct, Queen. That's when it's automatic, right? And we know that actions that are done automatically without thinking about it is a habit. So that's when that habit has been changed. That's right. So that's when that habit has been changed, okay? When it begins to the maintenance state and it's automatic, okay? So now we went over our 5 stages of the change model. So let's go on and let's talk about the intervention for each one of these stages, okay? Very quickly, we're going to go over the implementation stage, okay? So now, in the pre-contemplation stage, all right, how do you move a person from that stage to the next stage? Well, one of the things you're going to do is, first of all, is don't push them. You know, a lot of times we see our loved ones and family members and we sit back and we say, you know, we start talking about them. You need to go on and lose weight. You need to do this diet. You need to do this. You need to do that. Well, they don't need to do anything. Right. Okay, so the first thing you want to do, if you really want to turn someone off, try to force them to do something that they don't feel, number one, that they have a problem with. Number two, and you telling them what to do. So you got to be careful about that. So don't push them. First of all, just don't push them. You know, you want to try to get them to realize that a behavior change is needed, and help them to realize that it's a possibility that they may have a problem. And the best way to do that is to try to lead them down the path and let them say that they have a problem. Okay, versus us as our loved ones. When I say us, instead of us trying to tell them that they have a problem, try to lead them down the path of like, wow, you know, I think this may be a problem. And that's what you want to do. You want to get them thinking so that they can evaluate themselves.
And how would I do that? Or how would, let's say if it were me and you were trying to help me, you know, change my habits and my choices and my behavior. So how would you encourage a loved one? Because we're speaking about, and we have that a lot in families and relationships. You know, one is on the right path and the other one may be going to the right. You know, how can you encourage or how could you promote leading them, you know, down the path that we feel they need to take, or we want them to feel they need to take to become healthier?
Right. Well, one of the things you do is you listen to a person's conversation, because what they do is they'll tell you all about themselves. That's one thing that we really do love, is to talk about ourselves. So, for instance, we could be sitting here talking together and you could say, you know, child, I went to get up the other day and I tell you my foot was hurting some kind of bad. I'm like, well, what do you think is causing it? I don't know. It's probably because this weight that I got on me. The doctor already told me I need to lose some weight. See? So they've already started telling you the issue that they have. However, it is unconscious. They don't think it's an issue, even though they just told you what the issue was. So then you start talking to them about that. Have you ever thought about it? Do you think, you know, losing a couple of pounds may help you feel a little better? Well, it may, you know, because I remember way back when I was so pounds, I didn't feel as bad. My knees didn't hurt as bad. So as you can see, the process starts right there in normal conversation. Okay. You may be, for another example is, you may see your loved one going through a particular situation. They may be coughing, or they may be complaining about something, and you can kind of slightly elaborate on it without actually pointing the finger towards that individual. So by saying something like, you know, the other day I had this cough in my throat, I'll tell you the truth, I couldn't get rid of it. And what do? Chime in and say, you know what, child, I got the same cough. Well, what do you think it is? Well, I don't know what it is. You know, we think you need to go get it checked out to see what's going on. And that's how we can kind of lead. You know what, that may be a good idea. I might, you know, I need to go talk to the doctor. So the whole time, all you trying to do is lead and guide them down the road. Now, the last thing you can do is just, hey, recommend that they talk to someone else of an expert opinion, hopefully a person like myself. You know, person of expert opinion, say, you know what, I heard of this this doctor over here that they talked about losing weight and all of this. You know, maybe you want to go talk to him. You never know. But basically it talks about, the person. Basically, the person. So sit back, listen to their conversation. Typically, they will tell you what's going on with them, and then you can help guide them down the road versus telling them what to do. Okay. All right. So that was the pre-contemplation stage. Then we have the contemplation stage. Now, in the contemplation stage, remember that the person realizes that they have a problem. Okay. So they know that they'll say something like, hey, I know I need to lose weight. I need to exercise more, whatever it is. So what you want to do is get them excited. You want to get them excited about making a behavioral change. Say, you know what? I feel so much better because I started working out myself, every day. Really? Yes. I'm going to tell you, you're going to feel fabulous. You want to get them excited about it. Once you get them excited about it, then they'll probably be more apt to willing to start planning, getting into the next stage, which is the preparation stage. But you want to get them excited about it. You want them to reevaluate themselves. You want them to sit back and say, hey, I need to look at what I'm doing, reevaluate myself so I could do something for a better change. Okay. So the next stage, and once they get to that point, they're like, you know what? I'm getting ready to start. Which leads us to the next stage, which is the preparation stage, right? You want to help them set a date. When are you going to get started? Well, I'm going to start on Monday. Wow, that's awesome. So you're going to start on Monday. You want to get them to share their plan. You want them to share their plan with get what I'm going to say now. You want them to share their plan with a supported family or friend. And I'm double underlining supported. Okay. There's a lot of naysayers out there. So you want to talk to someone that you trust and believe in, and they believe in you. Okay. So you need someone that's going to give you support, not someone that's going to, oh, child, you don't want to do that. Or,
huge.
It's very huge. Yeah. It is. You want to look at the glass that's half full, not half empty. Okay. You want to get someone that's not pessimistic, optimistic, not pessimistic. Okay. Someone that's going to edify you, someone that's going to encourage you. Those are the people that you want to tell your newfound goal or what you're going towards. And this is the preparation stage. So get them excited so that they can reevaluate themselves. That was in the contemplation stage. The preparation stage is, hey, let's put a plan together. Let's put a date together. When are we going to start? That's the preparation, the planning stage. Okay. Then we're going to move into what? The date has come. We're in the action phase. So now it's time to act. Okay. So now in the action phase is one thing I want to share with you. You want to have constant attention because it's constant attention is needed when you're moving from a bad habit to a good habit. You have to consistently think about it. And then it becomes unconscious competent, which means that you don't even have to think about it. It happens automatically. All right. But you want to get to that point where you're constantly thinking because, hey, you're moving from a bad habit to a good habit. All right. Or to a healthy habit. You want to keep that in the forefront of your mind at all time. Okay. And the next thing too, in the action stage, and this is critical as well, you want to control the environment. Okay. This is definitely a key, right? This is the key to success because environment affects change behavior. Okay. Your environment is everything. Yeah. So you want to make sure that you have them to control their environment. So if they have something in there that's going to throw them off track, it needs to get out of the environment. So and then you ask me, what is the environment? Your environment is wherever you go. Okay. Most likely it's going to be your home, but it could be wherever you go,
work.
Exactly.
Your car.
Exactly.
Just wherever you are.
Exactly. You have to think and you have to know that everything that's around you in your environment can be a trigger. Okay. So if you want to eliminate those triggers and you want to eliminate those chances to have a setback, you want to make sure that your environment is under control. Okay. And that also means that anybody that comes into your environment have to understand that, so they may not bring any triggers with them into your environment. Okay. But it is the key to success, right? And it definitely affects your change behavior, your environment. Okay. Now, after about 6 months, guess what? We move into our last stage, which is the maintenance phase. Okay. Now, the maintenance phase, you hear Queen, she might have talked about it before. She said, help us to sustain and maintain.
Yeah.
Sustain and maintain. Okay, she say sustain first, then she say maintain afterwards, right? So now we're in the maintenance phase, the maintaining phase. And this is the phase, you know, people used to say to me all the time, they say, oh, wow, this workout was great. And I tell them all the time, hey, that 25, 30 minutes, 1 hour was easy. This is the easy part. You have the hard part because I only have you 1 hour out of 24 hours. What you do out of the other 23 hours is up to you. And that is just as critical, if not more critical, than the 1 hour you spent working out or doing whatever you were doing, right? The threat for going back to your old ways are at its highest point in the maintenance phase. So you have to be careful in the maintenance phase, right? And look, negative behavior is real. Negative behavior is real. So you need positive thinking, okay? You need a positive environment, right? And you need positive people in your environment during the maintenance phase, because that's the phase when you can slip back into your old ways and old habits. And hey, let me tell you, it can slip back up on you without you even realizing it. Okay, so remember, you have to exercise those different other stages to prepare you for the maintenance phase. Okay, and that's typically when you get into that relapse that you saw on our cycle there earlier, because the relapse phase is real as well. Okay, and you only relapse after you've set a goal and you've made that goal, you've reached that goal, and you may now have stepped outside of that goal. You may have allowed different things to creep back into your old ways, and now that actually becomes your lifestyle again. So you want to be really, really careful. And that's where you see the relapse right here on our screen right here. And that's when it happens. Okay, you can go through those stages, but remember, like I said on the initial screen, now you can re-enter any one of these stages at any time. Okay, so what I mean by that, so let's say if you do relapse, okay, you relapse today, but then tomorrow or even next week or next year, you can say, I'm gonna, you started out, you said I'm gonna work out every single day, 5 days a week. Let's make it realistic. 5 days a week, we're going to work out, right? Well, you drop down, you stop working out 5 days a week. Now you only work out 1 day a week. Okay. So next week, next month, next year, whenever it happens, you can come back in and say, you know what? I'm going to start working out again 5 days a week, and I'm going to start tomorrow morning. Okay. Remember, implementation, intention strategy, right? I'm going to do it tomorrow morning. I'm going to do it in my house, and I'm going to do it at 5 o'clock in the morning. You got it all set up. You're ready to go. At that point, you're going to enter what stage? You did the planning already, because you said tomorrow you're going to start at 5 o'clock in the morning and so on and so forth. So we got the planning portion. Now the action is going to start. The next day, you're right back in it. So you didn't have to go back to the contemplation stage. You didn't have to go back to the pre-contemplation stage if you were ever in that stage. You can go straight into the action stage with a planning stage, preparation, go right into the action stage, and then move from there. 6 months in, you'll be back into the maintenance phase, and then you can maintain that. Or if you do another relapse, go back to the beginning or go to whatever stage you need to do to start back in to reach that goal. Now, last thing about that, whatever your goal is, that's what you're trying to reach. So let's say if you had a goal set initially to, let's say, get to 150 pounds. Okay. So that was the goal. So now, a little later in life, things have changed with yourself, your situation. And you say, you know what? I'm very comfortable at 160. I'm very healthy at 160. I'd rather be at 160, then that's fine. Okay. 160 is now the goal. Once you're at 160, and if you even relapsed and reach 160, it is not a relapse. At that point, it becomes a maintenance phase for you. Okay. You just have to put the things in place to maintain it, which means what? Make sure you constantly think about your environment, keeping that environment clean, keeping it positive, keep positive people around you. Okay. All right. So those are the 5 stages that we go to, and the 5 interventions for the modeling stages, the change model stages of the theoretical modeling behavior. Okay. There's pre-contemplation, the contemplation stage, preparation, action, and maintenance. All right. So,
so go ahead. Once you learn this phase of, what do you call this? What is this cycle here?
Yes, the entire cycle is called a trans-theoretical model for behavior change.
Okay, so behavior change
Yes.
model.
Yes, yes.
If we just get comfortable with this cycle, because what it is, we're learning ourselves. That's the way I like to look at it.
Yes.
It's an old saying, or someone said, I don't know who said it, excuse me, we failed our way to the top.
Yes.
Well, there's nothing wrong with failing if you realize, okay, that doesn't work. Let me reevaluate.
Yes.
Make another plan.
Absolutely.
Carry out my action.
Absolutely.
Do it for at least 6 months.
That's
and
right.
Then it becomes what?
Yep.
Automatic.
And automatic.
Yeah,
that's right. That's
so
right.
We are just learning ourselves.
Yes.
And that's what I'm learning to do.
I am
is
too.
To embrace the journey
where you are. That's right.
Of where I'm at.
That's right.
What it is that I'm trying to accomplish.
Yes.
And we can't compare ourselves to other people.
Yes.
You can go ahead on and get rid of that screen there. We can hide this and just go back to the big screen.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Let's change this here.
Yes.
Right.
There we go.
Yeah. What I'm learning for myself is to embrace the cycle.
Yes.
Right. And not consider I don't like using the word relapse because you said it's based on your goals, but sometimes we have a few setbacks. Yes. Right. So, but that's just a matter of what you was doing probably wasn't sustainable for you.
Right.
So we have to find what works.
Yes.
And what's sustainable.
That's right.
So it can help us keep maintaining what we have. Yes. I mean, it's a true saying, and I've learned that in my journey is if we go back and slip back to doing the things that brought us to the contemplation of needing to make a change, we're going to be back where we were.
That's true.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
That's
so
true,
we can't expect to do the same thing. I'm talking to myself. I can't expect to go back to doing the same old things that I was doing to get new results. I believe that's the definition of insanity.
That is correct.
I'm learning how to embrace change.
Yes.
And sometimes age bring about a change.
It does.
So like what I did 6 years ago, I may have to reevaluate and say, okay, well, based on my age and where I'm at now, I need to do it like this.
Absolutely.
In order to keep moving my train in the direction that I wanted to go. So this was huge for me.
Yes.
Because sometimes we're our worst critics.
Yes.
And we feel like, oh, you just a failure, you can't do this, you can't do that.
Right.
Well, yes, you can. It's just a matter of where you are in the cycle.
That's right.
Figuring out where you are.
That's
Are you in a pre-contemplation? Feel like you don't need to do nothing? Contemplating, you know what, I really do need to make a change, and excited about making change.
Absolutely.
Then preparing, if that's where you are, cool. Then we move on to action.
Yes.
And then the maintenance. Yes. So just enjoy the journey of learning how to develop healthy habits to create a healthy lifestyle, because that's going to be our medicine for just maintaining our health and longevity and vitality is our day-to-day choices of again what we're eating, how we're dealing with stress, how we're loving, right? Our relationships. Sometimes our relationships become toxic. So, we have to learn how to prune them out, being active, moving our bodies, those simple things over a long period of time, which may not seem like it means much right now, but over a period of time makes the world of difference.
It does.
So I am truly learning how to embrace the process of developing and becoming my best authentic self by developing healthy habits.
That's right.
And keeping a healthy lifestyle.
That's right.
So,
and always you got to remember that, we were all going to roll through these different stages at different times. Different, it's going to be different for every one of us. Okay. I may roll through the stages much faster than someone else or slower than someone else. So just because you're in one particular stage, that's fine. To thine own self be true.
Yes.
Okay. Stay in that stage. Stay right there. And if you need help, reach out. Say, hey, I'm trying to move forward, but I can't. Queen and I, we talk about it all the time. Sometimes we don't even want to work out. I mean, even though we know it's good for us. Okay. And there are other things and other principles and factors that go into that reason why you don't want to work out. And it was a great book.
Trap.
There you go. I was just going to say it, Queen.
Pleasure Trap by
great
Doug
book.
Loud,
Wow.
Dr. Doug Loud, and Dr.
Yes.
Alan Goldhammer.
Yes.
If you haven't gotten that book, I would highly recommend you get it, because it helped me early on in my walk of becoming and living a healthier lifestyle. When I learned out about the pleasure trap, understanding the pleasure
triggers
trap
that's within us.
I'm telling you, we are wired to want it easy.
Absolutely.
To seek pleasure, avoid pain, all of that. So I try to keep that in mind on my day-to-day actions. And do I get it right all the time? No. But am I aware and I'm conscious of what I need to do? Yes. You know, and I just take one day at a time, one step at a time. We appreciate you joining us. We appreciate you, Dr. Will, for sharing that information with us with the theoretical, what is it called again?
The trans-theoretical model for behavior change.
Okay.
Yes.
The model for behavior change.
And this model is particularly for healthy
habits.
Behavioral change.
Healthy behaviors. Healthy behaviors.
For healthy behavior.
Yes.
Yeah, we had a couple people that come on, Queen.
And thank you for joining us. And
what was that? I'm trying to see that.
Let me see. Hold on. Let's acknowledge Ann here.
Hey,
thank you for this. Things to keep in mind for the holidays.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, holidays is it's a very trying time, but you know what? Wonderful holidays, it's a wonderful time to fellowship, be with loved ones and all that. But it's also a beautiful time to keep your health goals in front and center, because Christmas come and go, Thanksgiving come and go. But you have the rest of the year to walk this out. So if we can, try not to lose it all just for one day on Thanksgiving and Christmas, we'll be much better off. So our choices, making healthy choices, is going to be key. Keeping that in the forefront of our mind. At least I know for me too. Keeping in the forefront of always just trying to eat healthier foods during the holidays. And that doesn't mean it has to be bland food. Plant-based food's real good, right? But just always being conscious of always being conscious of making the healthier choice. Making the healthy choices becomes our healthy habits, which becomes our healthy lifestyle. And we have to do that day in, day out. I have to do it day in and day out. Heather Desiree. Okay.
Heather Desiree.
Yes, Heather. Let me see. She said your alarm didn't go off. I didn't get the alarm. Has a line through it, and when I attempt to change the bell, it still has a line through it. Okay, Heather. I don't know about that, but you can do the replay. Yeah, definitely.
That's what she said.
Okay. Refuse the first bite. That is so true. So true. Ann said, did we acknowledge Ann? I think we did. You said, thanks for this. Keep in mind. Refuse the first. Refuse the first bite. That's true. That's true. And sometimes it's easier said than done, Heather. But definitely refusing the first bite. Just don't even give in. And take the healthier choice. Just the healthier choice is always better. So refuse the first bite. That's huge.
Queen conscious. I like that.
Okay, Queen. What's going on? Queen, one queen to another queen.
Hey.
Thank you for this. Just reminds me to get back on track. Yes, wonderful. A great book to live by. Yes, absolutely. Yes. The Pleasure Trap is a wonderful book. I would encourage you to get it. If you don't, by Dr. Doug Loud and Dr. Alan Goldhammer.
And they have it on audio. They have it on audio too.
It's in audio.
If you don't like to read, you can just put it in, plug it in, and let it roll.
That's so true. So true.
If anyone have any questions, we get ready to wrap up this evening. But if you have any questions or anything pertaining to making behavioral changes, just go on and shoot us a quick tag, and we'll see if we can answer that for you. Thank you so much again for joining us this evening.
We appreciate all of you for joining us.
We do. Yes,
we appreciate all of you that's gonna watch the replay. Leave in the comments below. Looking forward to next week.
Oh yes,
talk
yes.
Next Wednesday
awesome.
at 8:30.
Yes, at 8:30.
Do we know what our topic is going to be?
I have an
Heart
idea.
Holiday?
I think it's going to be Heart Holiday. Yes,
okay,
because we're getting real close to Thanksgiving and everything, and I think you're going to really be excited about the information that we're going to share with you with the Heart Holiday.
Okay,
it's going to be really good. So you may definitely want to chime in, and have other people to chime in with you. We're going to talk about the Heart Holiday, what happens, and what holiday syndrome, what it means. Yes, what it means. And one thing I could tell you real quick, I want to whet your appetite just a little bit. That they said that more heart attacks or strokes happen during the holiday season, such as Thanksgiving and Christmas, than any other time of the year. We're going to have numbers for you. We're going to have quick blurb interviews from doctors. Hopefully we can share that with you as well. It's going to be really good, really nice. So you want to chime in on that. We're not telling anyone to become a hermit. We know that the pandemic has been here with us, and a lot of us this year will be with family members and friends that we weren't able to last year. There's nothing wrong with that. But we also want you to be conscious, mindful. Yes, because we want you here after Thanksgiving. That's we want you here after Christmas, and so do your loved ones. Okay, so it's longevity of life, right? Healthy habits, healthy lifestyle. Okay, because we all want to be here with each other as long as we can, right? Yep, that's true. There we go. That's true. Whatever's in your control, take control of that, and you use that. Okay. Yes. All right. So.
Ready to bring it to a close? We're ready to bring it to a close.
All right.
Well, yes. Until next time.
Yes.
Always remember, our health is our wealth.
Absolutely.
So let's get to the root of obtaining and sustaining it and maintaining it.
Yes.
Right. Bye.
We got to make healthy choices.
Yes.
Okay. That will become healthy habits.
Yes. Which will create a healthy lifestyle.
All right.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you, guys. All right. Bye. Take care. Bye-bye.